So everybody's favorite Twitch streamer and creep, Hasan Piker, has been caught torturing his dog on camera. And if you still had any doubts about what a creep this guy is, this should put all those doubts to rest. So here he is live streaming. By the way, these Twitch streamers, they do like 10 hours a day. They stream like 10 hours a day. And it's worth it. He's got a I don't know, $3 or $4 million house in West Hollywood, which is a really nice neighborhood, and he drives a $300,000 car or something like that. I bet you
he's happy.
But I bet he seems very happy. He doesn't seem happy in this clip. Let's watch. When you have to torture dogs, when you have to electric shock. He's going to electric shock his dog. Let's watch.
Of all of America's much more consequential violence, okay? It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just fucking go, just stop.
So now, if you missed what he did there, watch his left arm, and his left arm reaches, and now a lot of people are saying that he reached for the shocker, the button to shock his dog with a shock collar, and that's why his dog yelped for no reason, because his dog just standing there and all of a sudden yelps. So it's pretty obvious that he electric shocked his dog for nothing. And by the way, you're not supposed to have, if you do use a shock collar, we were offered a shock collar when we took our dog for training, and we said no. And then they showed us, well, here's how it, and they put it on our hand to let you know it's not that bad. It's just to get the dog's attention. And so they go, you can turn it up loud to hurt, but high, and that will hurt them, but we don't turn it up high. We just turn it up to get their attention. We still said no. But the fact that that dog yelped shows you he has it turned up way too high on purpose. And so watch his left arm. Let's watch his left arm.
Of all of America's much more consequential violence, okay? It's the same reason as to why America, Kaya, please just
Now watch, see his left arm reaching? So he's reaching. You see the collar on the dog. He's reaching with his left hand, and as soon as he reaches, the dog yelps. Watch.
Fucking go, just stop. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're being such a baby. It's just...
She's being a baby because she stepped off her bed for a second because she doesn't want to sit there and listen to you scream into a microphone for 10 hours because it makes her uncomfortable and anxious. Maybe she wanted to go to the bathroom. Maybe she wanted to get a drink of water, and then you electrocuted her. She's being a baby. Why do you make your dog? He uses his dog as a prop. Why do you make your dog sit there for 10 hours so you can have a nice prop for your Twitch stream? Why don't you let your dog outside? I know you have a backyard. And so watch who he blames this on.
You're making her stressed. She just literally is so incredibly spoiled from my mom.
It's his mom's fault. What? My mom. He's blaming his mom.
You gotta be kidding me.
For the reason why he just electroshocked his dog.
No, she doesn't want to come over here to see what's up. She just wants to fucking roam the house because she got to roam the house when I was gone. And she needs to literally have the same...
Why can't your dog... So your dog has to sit there still for 10 hours a day while you scream into a microphone like a moron? That she has to do that? And you are stressing your dog out. Why can't your dog roam the house? And I hope he realizes that from this point on, it doesn't matter what happens to him. I think he's pretty sure he's lost his victim status. He's like that basement pervert in Pulp Fiction that has a gimp on a chain. A lot of people are calling him out. Duopoly Destroyer, Nico House says, damn, I wasn't going to say anything, but that sudden jump after Hasan reached definitely makes me think she's got a shock on and not a small one, especially because he sounds irritated as hell. Why stream with her in the room if you have to shock her to keep her in check? I've never had to do that with my dog. He just laid there until I was done or until I called him over. Viva Fry, he says, if I had to guess, I would say the reaction of a shock collar. I think you can even see Hasan reaching for something, which I suspect was the shocker right before the dog yelps. I'm pretty sure you're correct, Viva Fry. Andrew Tate even got in on it. You ready?
Oh.
Andrew Tate says, imagine just learning now that Hasan Piker is a piece of shit. Been obvious for years. Been obvious for years for me. Been obvious for years for me. And here's Tectone says, I always wondered how Hasan kept his dog behind him for the whole stream. Well, it's because he's been using a shock collar on a setting so high that his dog effing screams when he uses it. Using your dog as a prop to seem more friendly and relatable and down to earth, when in reality, he's a dog shocker. The dog isn't sitting there of his own volition, but stays there out of fear. I'm beyond disgusted. F this man's whole existence. So it sits behind me through the entire podcast, or it gets the shock collar again. I say I have a new nickname for Hasan. We call him Animal Lecter. How about that? Jeremy Smithson says he's got a shock collar on the canine turned up to the max. When you use one, especially on a young canine, as any trainer will tell you, you're not supposed to do that because it inflicts pain and fear, which crosses into the line of animal cruelty. That's why he's Animal Lecter. When you calibrate these collars, you're supposed to start out at the lowest setting, then work your way up until you gain their attention, never going to a level that indicates a pain and a fear response. They're only supposed to be used to get their attention, to mitigate a potential danger or compliance with a command, requiring a low setting of 5 to 10, maybe 15. Most canines respond to lower settings or the use of the vibration or tone function, not a 10G shock, 100 plus shock. That's what it says. When the dog yelped, he clearly reached for the remote, then activated it. What he's doing here is abuse. You know someone's a good person when they have to electrocute their pets to become static props for an ego portrait. And just to let you know, he doesn't really give a shit about dogs or animals. A lot, and just watch this.
Just such a lib ass like.
So this is when his audience was warning him he was getting a dog, and they warned him against getting a purebred because a lot of the purebreds have a hard time with breathing and such. And this was his response.
Just such a lib ass like, oh, dude, please don't get a Frenchie. I just read a Vox article talking about how problematic they are. Like, I don't give a fuck. I know they have breathing problems. I know they're incredibly fucking inbred. I don't give a shit. I know. I don't care. Like, I don't give a shit. This is a dog.
What? I don't give a shit. It's a dog. What? That's his response. I don't care. It's a dog. It's not a real thing. It's not a sentient being. Doesn't have feelings. Doesn't feel pain. It's just a dog. And if you want to know that he normally keeps the collar on too tight anyway, here he is being called out for it.
And now it's mainstream. I love her. I think her collar's too tight.
Well, it's higher.
You have to be able to get 2 fingers, and I couldn't even get one. I think you're choking her.
She's like, she has a lot of neck meat.
Yeah, it's got a lot of neck meat. So let's keep this. So let's choke her 24/7 with this collar, and then shock her when she steps off the thing. That's. And it's, you know what's sad, that this is what it takes to break. Hasan could have very easily brought his dog over, shown that the dog wasn't wearing a shock collar, and cleared himself of all guilt. Because now he's denying that there was a shock collar. He said that she clipped herself on something. There was nothing there. She didn't clip herself on something. Her paws didn't jump. She didn't clip herself. She got shock collared. He did not do that. And he could have easily just brought the dog over and said, it's not on a shock collar. He didn't do that. Anything he presents now is completely invalidated. He will be late to stream. He will show you whatever replacement collar he can find that looks similar, and once again, lie and deceive his audience. Hasan, I know what type of piece of shit you are. You will not be fooling us. And well said, Tectone. I like Tectone. So let's listen to this.
Oh, Jordan.
My old roommate wanted to use it.
So he's trying to deny it wasn't a shock collar. Well, we know for a fact that he has a shock collar. We know for a fact that he bought a shock collar for that dog. How do I know? Well, listen to this.
Oh, Jordan.
My old roommate wanted to use a shock collar for Fish and his dogs. For Fish and his dogs barking. I couldn't do it. I have it still. I bought it.
He's such a meathead.
They are incredibly effective.
So he's got one. So we know he's got one. And by the way, there it is. There it is. There it is.
Wow, that dog gets
Is it?
stuck.
And by the way, isn't it? Is it not adding insult to injury that he's eating out of a dog bowl as he talks about this? The weirdest part is there's going to be a huge backlash of memes showing him wearing a shock collar.
Yes.
But in his case, it won't be ironic. So there's Andrew Tate. Oh, I put it in there twice. I loved it so much I put it in there twice. So this is a dog bred to be loyal, but has reached the same point that the rest of us have, and will forget to bark while his place gets ransacked by burglars. See what I'm saying? In 1910, this is from Roman Helmet Guy. In 1910, the Young Turks. So Hasan and Cenk Uygur runs the thing called the Young Turks, which he lies and says was not named after the Young Turk, even though he wrote Cenk Uygur wrote a paper saying that the Armenian genocide never happened.
Well, he has a good point there.
And then he named his company the Young Turks because they're Turkish, and so is he. And this Roman Helmet Guy says in 1910, the Young Turks rounded up all the Constantinople's 60,000 street dogs and put them on a deserted island to slowly starve them to death. So I don't think that most there people are implying he's Turkish, so that's why he hates dogs and he's so mean to dogs. I don't know. I know Turkish people who are nice to dogs. I don't, but I think I have to say that. What do you think? What do you make of that?
I think it's crazy that there's someone that live streams for 10 hours, and this is our society now. No wonder why we're so screwed up. Like, this reminds me of like the Truman Show. Did you ever see that movie with Jim Carrey? Yeah. Like, we live in that now. It's crazy. Like,
right.
when that movie came out, it was like horrifying. It's like, oh, my whole life will be on TV, like watching my every move. Now we got a guy doing that
voluntarily.
It's crazy.
Insta Gundam. It's a Gundam. I guess that's his name. He says, F Twitch. Anyone else would have been banned for life by now for all the stuff he gets away with. No kidding. He's gotten away for calling for the murder of politicians. He's gotten away with a lot of stuff. In fact, here's something. If you don't think he's creepy enough, he used to do a segment that was paid for by Cenk Uygur at the Young Turks. And it was called Bro Tip. And it was all about how to be a predator on women. And so let's watch some of it.
On this week's Social Guru, we cover an old classic warhorse, the let's get out of here rule. This one's been passed on for centuries and helped even the Vikings get laid. I actually lost my virginity with this rule, by the way, I'm not gonna lie. So you're in the club, you finally use the 5-second rule because you're smart now, because you follow Bro Tip, and you start talking to this girl, it finally leads to hooking up, and you're bold enough to grab an ass cheek, and then maybe even get some hand play downstairs. What is the next move?
This is a TV show that the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur, paid for him to make. This wasn't him just randomly making a video and putting it out. This was sponsored by the Young Turks. It's right there. TYT University. This wasn't just some random thing. Let's start it again.
On this week's Social Guru, we cover an old classic warhorse, the let's get out of here rule. This one's been passed on for centuries and helped even the Vikings get laid. I actually lost my virginity with this rule, by the way, I'm not gonna lie. So you're in the club, you finally use the 5-second rule because you're smart now, because you follow bro tip, and you start talking to this girl, it finally leads to hooking up, and you're bold enough to grab an ass cheek and then maybe even get some hand play downstairs. What is the next move? You need to get out of there, and you need to get out of there fast. Hopefully with the girl. So you have to use these 5 magic words. Let's get out of here. You might think, wait a minute, there's no way this is gonna work. Yes, it does. Let's get out of here. It's time to get out of there, and it's time to separate her from her herd.
Time to separate her from her herd. After he grabbed a little ass cheek and got some hand work downstairs. Ready? Here we go.
Meaning her crowd of girlfriends that are going to do their best to cock block you because they're fat and lonely. If let's get out of here doesn't work, you exchange numbers, she leaves, you leave, you guys talk later. And you continue on your conquest for the rest of the night. If the let's get out of here does work, you have successfully left the club with a hot girl, hopefully, in the cab, and you're going to your place or her place. Now, once you're in a more intimate one-on-one situation, it's much easier to get things moving forward. If you hadn't played the finger fun already in the club, now is the time to utilize those magic fingers. Take her back to your house, show off that impressive vinyl collection that no one else gives a shit about, and go into town. Once you bring them back home, it doesn't matter how impressive your Spotify playlist is, or however many stamps you've collected in 21 years of virginity. The only thing that'll matter is your teacup pig. If you don't have that, it doesn't really matter what you have. You should move on to the sex as soon as possible. Pour a glass of Yellowtail because you have nothing better. Put some Marvin Gaye on and get your freak on for the first time in your life ever. You're welcome.
So that's some pretty good wholesome fun that was sponsored by the Young Turks, paid for. And then of course this has all been scrubbed from the internet. They don't have that up anymore.
Was that a comedy sketch or was that
That was not
real?
a comedy sketch. That was him for real,
Oh,
giving
yeah.
advice to fellas on how to grab some ass, have some finger play downstairs, separate her from her fat chick the herd. You heard him say that, right? You heard him say that.
That guy probably gets laid way more than I ever
he certainly
will.
does. He certainly does. So there you go. But you know, he has to wear a shock collar and trigger it himself just so he can come. You know that, right?
Yes.
Okay, so today, as Keith Olbermann would say, today's worst person in the world. Hasan, the dog torturer, Animal Lecter, Piker. Okay. I don't have any jokes about this in my act, but maybe I will. Come see me in Irvine, California, October 19th. We're going to be in Australia. If you can't get a ticket now, we're adding more shows because the shows are selling out fast. And then we'll be in Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving. It's a Friday. Everybody's off. See you there. And then December 6th in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. October 19th, we'll be in Irvine, California. We'll be in Australia. Then we'll be in Burbank, California, the day after Thanksgiving. And then Pottstown, Pennsylvania, December 6th. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.